They're asking for assistance as they now say they're risking their lives just to get home. Plus, shop owners at Camp North End are asking where's the money this morning, why they say they can't make ends meet because of the heat. And Team USA has officially won their first medal of the Paris Olympic Games. We'll tell you which sport, plus what events you can expect to see this afternoon. WCNC Charlotte starts right now. Thank you so much for joining us here for WCNC Charlotte on your Saturday morning as we take a live look over uptown Charlotte from our view camera. It's looking gloomy. It's not looking the most prettiest, but hey, I hope whatever you're doing is still going to be fun. I hope you have some great plans, even if they're indoors. We've seen a lot of rain this week. We're expecting more for part of the day. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kaylin Hagwood.
And I'm meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees. Great to be back with you, my friend. And here's the good thing is that we see a little bit of rain today, but is nothing like we've seen over the past week. Of course, there's been flooding issues. There's been a lot of significant rain, a lot of humidity. This weekend, the heat and humidity sticks around, but the rain chances are going to be much lower. So if you have Saturday and Sunday plans, I mean, what better time that this could happen? So a drier weekend ahead with more sunshine. I know it's hard to believe because we have some dense clouds out there right now, but a pretty typical summertime pattern with some of that patchy low cloud cover to kick off the day. Eventually getting a little bit warmer though too, so we have to be mindful of that. And in fact, speaking of cloud cover, you can see a live picture here from our Dallas tower cam where oftentimes we can see above really the clouds, and right now you can see abundant amounts of them. Now here's the reason why. Think back to where we typically do see, dense cloud cover here, and we can see that nice little layer of fog. Well, it's a little bit later in the morning now, right? It's 9:30. So as this fog begins to lift and some of those clouds clear, notice you can actually see the ground below. So this is essentially the process of when fog starts to mix out of our area. Now satellite and radar still showing some clouds mixing in here and there, but I promise you the sun will come out at times this afternoon. And again, the rain chances are going to be relatively low as we kick off our Saturday afternoon. Here's your hourly rain chance look. I mean, we got 0, 0, 0, and then only 20% for the majority of the afternoon. Now, both Saturday and Sunday do have these lower rain chances, but specific spots across the Charlotte metro area have a better chance to see rain today, and it's a different spot and time frame to see rain tomorrow. So what are the changes? Of course, I got you covered with a full update coming up.
Okay, Brittany, we'll check back in with you here shortly. But now to this developing story out of East Charlotte. We know one person has died after a shooting on Parkwood Avenue. Medic says that person died after being shot late last night. Now, this was the scene overnight as police began their homicide investigation. And at this hour, CMPD hasn't shared why this happened or if there's a suspect as they continue to investigate. New numbers from police just this week show homicides are up 36% in the city compared to last year. And this morning, the search continues for Jamie Mack. Police say he's on the run, accused of taking part in a murder earlier this week. Meanwhile, 18-year-old Damani Wall surrendered to police early Friday. If you know where Mack may be, call law enforcement. This morning, a Charlotte man accused of killing his adoptive father is sitting in jail on a $1 million bond. Desmond Dunlap is charged in the death of Fred Dunlap. Court documents we obtained confirmed Fred adopted Desmond back in 2003. Fred was first reported missing, then found dead Wednesday on Bobby Lane in Southeast Charlotte. A Durham mother is in jail this morning after she allegedly abducted her son Thursday. Mariah King and her 9-year-old son were found about 24 hours ago just south of downtown Durham after an Amber Alert was issued. We're told that the child is safe. King faces several charges, including abduction. Now to this, Charlotte airport workers say they're risking their safety and their time just to get home from work. And while there are shuttles to and from the employee lot, many say that the long wait times are pushing them toward walking on the busy roadway instead. And they say sometimes the wait is almost an hour just to be taken to their cars. WCNC Charlotte's Julia Kaufman reports.
The sound of screeching brakes may annoy most people, but it's music to these workers' ears.
I'm doing the double, so I do 2 jobs. So getting out of here, I'm trying to get out of here, go to my wife and relax and come back again and do the same thing all over.
Employees telling us their wait times for the bus around 30 minutes Friday afternoon. This anonymous worker forced to wait for the next one.
He closed the door on me, so it still have more space, and this is what they do.
The Airport Workers Union, CWA Local 3645, says it's been complaining about the wait times for months.
The city of Charlotte needs to do better.
President Danielle Prophet says the shuttles are making people late to work.
But I have members that are getting dependability points because they can't get here on time, and they are arriving to the employee deck an hour prior.
The airport says buses operate 24 hours a day. But crowds of workers struggle to get on during shift changes when there are too many people to fit.
Yeah, sometimes I walk because it's better to walk.
The airport advises against it, but some employees feel they have no choice.
They're walking with their backs to the cars and risking their lives trying to get home.
So what's causing these long wait times? A spokesperson for Charlotte Douglas tells me, quote, due to record-breaking passenger traffic this summer, there may be a few timeframes when the demand for employee shuttles significantly outpaces the capacity in our shuttle system, which results in wait times increasing slightly above the usual 15 minutes.
So we're just going to keep pushing and pushing because we definitely got to get more buses.
Come here like 2 buses at a time. They keep doing that should be better.
Well, that was Julia Kaufman reporting. People in Oakboro are raising concerns this morning over rising vacancies in their police department. They tell us that the small department is running out of officers and it's putting their safety at risk. Now, officers we spoke to tell us that they're trying to pick up the slack in the meantime, but neighbors worry the staffing shortage could lead to slower response times.
Since about May, they've lost over about 5 officers. They have just recently lost their police chief. Personally, I'm a concerned citizen.
Well, the department says they are exploring all options to fix this issue while also meeting the needs and safety of the community. This morning, a community-based group is seeking solutions to violence. Youth Advocate Programs has an initiative called Alternatives to Violence. You may have heard of it. It builds relationships with people in high-risk environments to foster change. So we're going to take a closer look at how they're working to help.
The corner of Beatties Ford Road and Catherine Simmons Avenue may have a violent past, but neighbors and advocates are trying to bring peace.
I think that the community is growing and it's in process of educating itself.
The Alternatives to Violence team by Youth Advocate Programs hosted a community peace and greet Thursday.
If we can build these relationships and make connections more frequently, then we really can start to generate some change.
Handing out Narcan, helpful information, and connecting with the community.
You have to build that trust to let them know exactly what we're doing and who we are.
Program manager Kwesi Mpansa says a big part of trust here is keeping separate from police and public agencies.
There's a lot of mistrust.
That way residents aren't scared to reach out for help and they can directly intercept violence.
If we can connect with individuals who may need somewhere to sleep and we can help them out with that, that'll stop them from breaking into one of these buildings trying to find somewhere to sleep.
Residents like Sherry are grateful to see them around.
We need more support and we need financial education as well.
Well, this morning, Chester County officials are responding amid rising public safety concerns there. Several public agencies tell WCNC Charlotte they don't have the manpower, equipment, or training needed to cover the area's growing population. City leaders say they're doing what they can, often calling in other departments to help during an emergency.
The economy the way it is right now, people are struggling, with everyday lives. We're just trying to do the best that we can.
Emergency crews are now urging county leaders to include them in conversations about any new developments in infrastructure that they hope to bring to the area. In Charlotte, businesses in Camp North End are asking where's the money after owners say fewer people are coming in the door. WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard has the details.
This chime. It's a small reminder that Wentworth and Finn is open for business.
I hope you enjoy everything.
Thank you. And a big opportunity for the owner, Samantha Ward, to make someone else's life sweeter.
We do make everything from scratch. We do buy quality ingredients.
Ingredients, she says, comes to life inside the oven, but sometimes never makes it from behind this glass.
There's just no one coming out.
A challenge, she says, leaves her and some of other businesses here in Camp North End slowly dying.
We're getting days where we'll barely hit 200, and it's just kind of like, oh my gosh, what's going on out there? When we don't make what we need to, it does force me to sit and think, is this going to be it?
Over at That's Novel Books, the owner, Alyssa Presser, says summers are often slower.
It gets really hot out. People want to stay home in their air conditioning.
She says that's why she preps ahead.
We plan for this. We save during the busy months for these slower months. Every business is going to have some seasonal affect to it. Just kind of have to prepare for it.
As businesses in Camp North End continue to push through this summer, they're hoping things will turn around for the better.
We would just want people to come out and support.
Tradisha Woodard, WCNC Charlotte.
Right now, the Carolina Panthers taking part in their annual Back Together Saturday. The free event allows fans to get a first look at the upcoming season's team, and it comes after a week full of preseason training camp. So the most important question is Bryce Young improving from last season? And the Panthers quarterback, well, he's no stranger to questions regarding his look and performance, and had this to say about how he's preparing.
The thing is, I don't really get to like push people and be like, oh yeah, like last year he would have moved me. This year, like, yeah, like I moved him. Like, so I kind of just throw the ball. So, and a lot of that comes from, surprisingly, like has almost nothing to do with like how big your arms are, how much you bench. It's a lot about how much power you create, how efficient you can be with getting towards your target. So I work on that, try to do that as much as I can.
Well, meanwhile, Charlotte FC is gearing up for a big day. The team begins group stage play in the Leagues Cup tonight at Philadelphia Union. Leagues Cup includes MLS clubs and sides from Mexico's top league. Charlotte made the quarterfinals last season. You may remember. Kickoff is at 8. The 2024 Paris Olympics officially underway after a spectacular opening ceremony yesterday. Swimming fans enduring the rain to attend today's opening day of the Olympic Games swimming competition. The fans arrived at the arena to see their idols waving their flags and colors. The Paris swimming competition opened with the women's 100-meter butterfly race. And just hours ago, the United States officially winning their first medal of the Paris Games. Team USA's Sarah Bacon and Cassidy Cook taking home the silver for their diving performance this morning. They placed second in the women's synchronized 3-meter springboard diving final. Congrats to them. Medals will continue to be awarded all day right here on WCNC Charlotte. Olympic events continue this afternoon with soccer, volleyball, and more. Remember, we are your home for the Paris Olympics. You can catch everything happening right now on our air. Well, we've gotten a lot of athletes that are actually from the Carolinas who are participating in this year's Olympic Games. Right now on the WCNC app, we actually have a list of those athletes and their stories so you can follow their journeys and learn more about them. Now, Paris hasn't hosted the Olympics since 1924, but this year the City of Lights is a lot hotter as temperatures rise. Now, meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees is going to break down the impact.
Climate change has become an important topic when discussing this year's Olympic Games. This is largely due to warming temperatures already during some of the hottest days of the year. In the 100 years since the Olympics were last held in Paris, data from Climate Central shows the average temperature between July 26th and August 11th, which is the duration of the Games, has gone up 5.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Nights with lows at or above 68 degrees are over 20 times more frequent. In 2023, this number was 84 compared to only 4 100 years ago. Reduced cooling at night can be tied to less sleep, prolonged heat stress, and other health risks. This is due to your body never fully recovering from the heat of the day. Days with highs at or above 86 degrees are 3 times more frequent now in Paris. In 2023, this number was 188 compared to 69 back in 1924. This does not take into account the humidity, which we know puts additional stress on athletes, officials, and other visitors. Athletes Athletes face an especially high impact from heat-related illness because the body produces 15 to 20 times more heat while exercising. And the globe getting hotter is a trend we have been seeing. The Tokyo Olympics in 2021 were the hottest Olympic Games ever. Extreme heat and humidity led to 146 reported cases of heat-related illness among Olympic and Paralympic athletes. For WCNC Charlotte, I'm meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees. And I was going to say air conditioning has also been a big topic because I'm sure you've seen the stories about Olympic Village maybe not having it, you know, because it's not common in France. And so kind of trying to work their way around it. I know they're using technology to try to kind of cool the ground underneath. But oftentimes when you have severe temperatures, you know, like what we've seen with hotter temps even this summer, and it doesn't do much sometimes during the hottest times of the year. Oh, for sure. A lot for them to consider there. If you're here, maybe a little rain to think about. Yes, and actually we're getting a little bit hotter too this weekend, but it's more typical for July. So no above average heat to talk about, thank goodness. Today we do have those areas of clouds this morning and even a little bit of rain, as Kaylin said, but don't think it's going to ruin your weekend. Kaylin and I are bringing some good news in this respect when it comes to the forecast. We're actually going to see lower rain chances this weekend, but again, temperatures a little bit higher. Now, because of cloud cover yesterday, the UV index was extremely low. More clouds this morning are going to keep that a little bit lower too, only around 7 or 8 in the afternoon, but more sunshine will return in the afternoon before really our cloudiest day over the next 5 does look to be Monday. So it's important, of course, to note that while the UV index won't be as high as it has been with some clouds mixing in here and there, always a good idea, we know, to take those breaks, use sunscreen, all those good things to protect our skin. You can see satellite and radar showing some of those clouds around this morning. Oftentimes fog around this time starts to mix out of our atmosphere, which we can also see from our Dallas Tower cam. I showed you that a second ago. If you missed it, don't worry. I'll show you again in a few minutes. Here's your look at your weekend forecast. I'll step off so everybody can see this full map view. Look at how minimal the rain is compared to where we have been the past few days. Only a stray shower or storm today in the afternoon. And then on Sunday, the rain chance is actually going to be much later. So an important distinction between the 2 days. Today's rain chances mainly west and northwest of the Charlotte area, so toward the Cleveland County, parts of Catawba County, and mainly the mountains and foothills. But again, rain is very few and far between on your Saturday. Sunday may see a few more areas of clouds in the morning just because patchy fog is common in the summer because we have the wet ground and of course a lot of humidity around. But tomorrow morning won't see as much fog because of not as much rain today. And then tomorrow's best chance for rain and storms is going to be much later on in the day, actually about 7 o'clock or later. And then it does become a little bit more widespread at times, especially heading into Monday. So a nice break this weekend before more rain and storms on the way for the majority of that 7-day forecast. You can see it here, brought to you by Guy Roofing. 88 today, 20% chance of rain, even more sunshine for your Sunday, 90 degrees. It's the first time we've gotten close to 90 in quite a little bit. More clouds on Monday mean our temperatures are relatively mild, but look at how much we soar. We're back in the mid-90s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, starting off August pretty hot with those mid-90s, which means feels like temperatures will most likely return to the triple digits. All right, Brittany, thanks. Developing this morning, a federal judge ruling that part of North Carolina's abortion laws should be blocked permanently. The judge says a provision requiring doctors to document the location of a pregnancy before prescribing abortion pills is too vague to be enforced. That requirement was paused last year by the same judge. And after cancer-causing chemicals were found on the campus of NC State this morning, we've learned UNC Charlotte is also now undergoing testing. Officials are looking for any toxic chemicals in a number of buildings on campus.
I actually have a few people that go to NC State. They've been in this hall, I believe, and they're like super worried. They're like, oh, am I going to get cancer in like 10, 15 years? So yeah, it was very shocking and scary. Hopefully everything comes back normal.
Well, the university says that testing isn't required, but it's doing so just to be safe. Once we learn of those results, we'll be sure to let you know. Happening today, the annual 24 Hours of Booty Ride continues. It's the 23rd year, the cycling and walking charity event. More than 800 people participate in the event and are participating apparently last night during the kickoff. The event raises money for the Levine Cancer Institute, Children's Hospital, and cancer research efforts at Queen's University. And it wraps up tonight at 7. Also happening today, dozens of local breweries and restaurants will gather to support the families of the officers killed in a line of duty in April. Craft brewers for a Cause kicks off at 4 p.m. at Norfolk Hall at Suffolk Punch. They will have beer tasting, food, and live music, all in the hopes of raising $50,000. It's the most common and expensive natural disaster for our area. Meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees has what you need to know about flash flooding.
Over the past decade, there have been over 1,000 floods right here in the Carolinas. Flooding is the second highest cause of weather-related deaths in the United States. That's why you'll hear "turn around, don't drown" many times during severe weather. 6 inches of running water can knock a person down, but 12 to 24 inches can float a vehicle, including trucks and SUVs. One of the biggest mistakes we make, trying to cross a flooded roadway. Barrier or no barrier, just don't do it. This is even more dangerous at night. You are unaware of the depth and you don't know what critters are underneath the black water. Reports of alligators, rodents, snakes, spiders, and even fire ants are common. Yes, fire ants. They band together and the raft they build can float for days. Now, during a flash flood, the best thing you can do is get to higher ground and avoid low spots. Before a potential flood, know your risk and stay weather aware. Flood maps for your home or business are available at FEMA.gov. The National Weather Service has also adjusted their flood alerts to make them easier to understand. A flood advisory means be aware, while a flood watch means be prepared, as conditions are favorable for flooding. If either of these are upgraded to a warning, you must take action now. Now, a flash flood warning is even more imminent. This is a sudden and violent flood that can take just minutes to develop. A flash flood emergency is even more rare. This is only issued for a severe threat to human life or a catastrophic flooding event. No matter the risk, the WCNC weather team is here to help you stay vigilant. No floodwater is a safe place to be.
No flooding risk today?
None, but we had so much rain the past week or so, and a lot of areas even were under flash flood warnings at times. So we just need to be mindful of the fact that while we get a break, there is more rain on the way next week. So the good news is enjoy your weekend. Not as good, though, of course. We know more rain's on the way. But it is summer, very, very typical forecast for this time of year. This morning, here's some good news. We are starting to see that fog lift. I had to show this picture in particular because normally when we're looking at the Dallas Tower cam, you can see fog on that thin layer on the bottom portion of your screen, and then you see the clouds above at the top. And I'm often saying, don't worry, once it mixes out, you will, of course, be able to see the sunshine. Well, in this case, we're literally watching the fog begin to lift and mix out as we speak. Here, of course, is the ground here in Dallas. These are the clouds that were previously the fog. Remember, fog is just low cloud cover. And as it begins to mix out and lift, it does start to clear. And now we can see the clouds above. Just think it's so cool that we have this ability, right, to see that on the camera. Satellite and radar showing still some of those low dense clouds for areas south of Charlotte, but again, they'll be going under the same mechanism here as winds start to pick up. Very common that we see fog linger a little bit later in the summertime because the winds, of course, start to pick up a little bit later. We get more daylight and all that good stuff, but at least as of now, we're starting to see that happen in real time. So clouds this morning, eventually returning to the partly sunny sky conditions by this afternoon as highs reach the mid to upper 80s. Tomorrow we'll have a few spots getting even close to 90 degrees, but more sunshine is expected for your Sunday. So this time Sunday is living true to its name, right, with the sun on your day. Now today, of course, there's that flooding risk for Saturday, 0 across the area, 0 again on Sunday. But remember, we talked about early next week, we will be tracking more rain and storms. Well, yes, we have another system approaching from the west, so you can see that start to creep in as we enter into Monday. Quick update on the tropics, folks. We are now once again watching another tropical wave, so tropics are starting to wake back up. Right now, a low chance of development over the next week, but if this one were to get a name, the next storm name on the list is going to be Debbie. Now, it might seem like we haven't been that active so far this season, but remember, June and July oftentimes are some of the least active months of hurricane season, as the official peak is the middle of September, September 10th, and about 90% of our activity happens after August 1st. Here's your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. 88 today, 90 degrees tomorrow. More rain and storms on the way for the upcoming week. And eventually we start off August pretty hot. So enjoy a pretty typical July-like weekend with lower rain chances and a lot of sunshine.
That sounds good, Brittany. Thank you. Charlotte is making strides in helping families get ahead. 10 years ago, the Queen City ranked last for economic mobility in one study, but now a new report ranks the city 38th out of the country's 50 largest cities. WCNC Charlotte's Ben Thompson shows us how the Queen City has been working to improve.
Charlotte prides itself for ranking near the top of all the most sought-after lists. Best place to live, one of the fastest growing cities, best place for young professionals. But that's not been the reality for folks like Vivian Howard.
Cost of living in Charlotte is insane.
She grew up in public housing at Southside Homes, her mom working multiple jobs.
We lived here for 15 years, like we just got out.
10 years ago, one study disrupted our city's sterling reputation. Harvard's Land of Opportunity study, also known as the Chetty study, named for pioneering economist Raj Chetty. It ranks Charlotte worst in the country for economic mobility. Simply put, folks here get trapped in poverty and can't get out.
Somebody born here at Southside Homes should be able to work really hard and one day buy a place across the street in South End. But for too many people here in Charlotte, that's a lot harder than it looks.
My family, just like many others, have come to Charlotte in hopes of buying a home, having great careers, raising children. And I want those same opportunities to be true for local Charlotteans who were born here.
Sherry Chisholm is the director of Leading on Opportunity, an organization created in response to the Chetty study. Its council, a who's who of Charlotte's business, political, and community leaders. Using public-private partnerships, the group's trying to level the playing field by addressing things like early child care and education, family stability, and college and career readiness.
The policies that we're putting in place, they're not policies for us right now. It's for the children and our grandchildren.
The study led to big reforms, including the Mayor's Racial Equity Initiative, the city's 2040 plan, and investments into Johnson C. Smith. Vivian calls herself a poster child for what can be. She's currently enrolled at Winston-Salem State University, and she's interning at Red Ventures.
I feel like I have a bright future. I have the drive for it.
Proof that Charlotte and some of its most vulnerable neighbors are making progress. Ben Thompson, WCNC Charlotte.
Well, let's connect the dots now. We make the news make sense. July is Disability Pride Month, a time to celebrate our differences, and Ben is going to tell you why.
This month is a chance to honor the history, achievements, and struggles of those with disabilities. Let's connect the dots. It originated back in 1990 to commemorate the passing of the Americans with Disabilities Act on July 26th. It prohibits discrimination at work, doctor's offices, and within transportation of any kind. It also makes it a requirement to have signs in parking spots and rooms accessible for everyone. Disability Pride Month was officially celebrated in 2015 to mark the ADA's 25th anniversary. You'll often see the flag that represents the different types of disabilities. They can be physical, like chronic pain or loss of a limb. It can also include people with autism, ADHD, PTSD, and even those with undiagnosed disabilities. The month celebrates being different and accepting who you are. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Time now for a reason to smile. A local HBCU is getting the largest donation in its history. Livingstone College in Salisbury says they've accepted a $7 million donation. And that money will go toward 2 residence halls and a dining hall. Now, renovations will also start on 2 additional residence halls, which are more than 50 years old. So a lot to look forward to there, Brittany.
Yeah, really exciting for them too. I actually was able to cover a story at Livingstone about 2 years ago when they got upgraded their science building and department. It was really cool to see. Great college, so really excited for them and the folks of Salisbury and of course Rowan County. Now today, I don't know if this is good news or bad news. I guess it just kind of depends on the way you look at it. If you've gotten a lot of rain this week and you don't want any more, we have lower rain chances this weekend, so that is fantastic. Only a 20% chance of rain and storms both days, but we will see more sunshine and temperatures will be a little bit warmer. So we will have to kind of deal with the good, right? The lower rain chances with maybe a little bit of negative as we're back near 90. But thankfully a break, I think, for a lot of folks who've seen a lot of flooding will be really nice. Your hourly rain chances are lower, which of course you can always get the latest update on these. We know over at our website, WCNC.com, and our WCNC Charlotte mobile app. But today and tomorrow, we're at a 20% chance of rain, so we have no flash flooding risk. You can see that on our map there Saturday and Sunday. However, by Monday, we'll watch another storm system approaching from the west, and that will bring a better chance of rain and storms.